Okay, welcome to 2025. I'm actually quite excited to record this video. When you look at the A7S III now and compare it to the newer releases, it might seem that it's getting a bit more outdated because it doesn't have all the new software things like AI autofocus and other little things. When you really break it down, this is a really stable 4K run and gun filmmaker, even not a run and gun filmmaker, just a really good video camera in general. It isn't limited by any resolutions or frame rates, like it's a really stable full frame video camera with really good noise performance, really great ISO values. It's good. It's a really good camera, and it's a really stable camera, and I really want to emphasize it because in the past with Sony cameras and also a Lumix camera that I've owned in the past, I did get some freezes every now and then. Like, you know, when the screen freezes or just you can't press stuff, like when the camera freezes, you know what it is. Like you have to turn it on and off or off and on and take the battery out, and it's not a nice process to go through, especially maybe if you're in a more serious position, if you're doing a job. This camera has never had that issue, has never overheated, never froze upon me. It's the most stable camera I have owned. Let's also get the worst parts out of the way straight away. I'm a bit frustrated with Sony. When the A7S III released, it released almost at the same time as the FX3. They both share basically the same hardware, which is good. But Sony has added two features to the FX3 that I really miss on the A7S III. One of which is shutter angle, which after using it on the Lumix cameras, it's just such a nice little feature to have. And the second one is user LUTs. Those two features are missing from the A7S III that would make it probably the best at its budget camera out there for video. Like user LUTs, like come on, like FX3 has had those for a very long time. I believe you can implement it with software. All the new releases have it. Why can't we have it on the A7S III? It would make the monitoring, the preview of the video when you're recording it so much easier. I just want more contrast and colors when I'm recording stuff. The shutter angle, it's a feature you need to have if you have a video camera. Like this is a video-centric camera. It needs to have shutter angle. Yeah. Two things that I really don't like that Sony is like keeping away from this camera. I don't know if it's a marketing thing or they want to advertise the FX3 more and you need to overpay for those two features. I don't know what the thing is here. I'm just frustrated that we don't have it on the A7S III. Other than that, this camera is really perfect. The screens that it has on the monitor and on the viewfinder, they're bright and with great resolution. The build quality is really excellent, especially if you're upgrading from something like the A7 III, which had problems with the doors and some like port quality issues. And just in general, it's a really robust camera to have. It's stable, it's nice looking, it doesn't feel outdated to me. All the resolutions you would want are available. It doesC lock you into APS-C at any time. It's a really nice, stable 10-bit 4K video camera. I have tried newer Sony releases like the A6700 and some other models, like with the AI focus and new features that they have. And I've gotta say, I don't really miss them. AI focus particularly, I don't think it's anything you should be worried about because the autofocus on this camera is quite nice, it's snappy, and it feels quite natural in a way. I really liked how in the Lumix cameras the autofocus never felt really jumpy, whereas with the AI autofocus on the new cameras it does, and you can slow it down, but it still feels like very jumpy. And on the A7S III it also doesn't feel very jumpy. Like, let's give a little autofocus test right now. It's tracking my eye, I'm looking at the monitor. Like, I've never had any issues with the autofocus on the A7S III. Well, I do have a script written for this, but I'm gonna turn it off. Music is like super impactful. For me especially, like I spend hours trying to choose the right track for my videos. I listen to all sorts of music that helps me get through my days all the time. You probably as well. So there's a platform called Audio. I personally have been using it for a few years now, and they're just a great music licensing platform. Not only that, they have sound effects and Their licenses cover like literally everything you need as a creator and as a freelancer. So you can use it for client work, you can use it for YouTube, you can use it for your website, everything. Let's say you find that song you really want to use, but you can't. Take that song, you paste it into LinkMatch AI, and it drops you a bunch of songs from Audio's platform that you can use that has the same vibe to it. They have a feature called Elements. They just give you the instrumentals or the bass or the vocals. They just split the song into elements. All of that is included into Audio Pro. It's just one subscription, one annual fee. And since I'm now partnered up with Audio, I can give you 70% off for your first year of Audio Pro. Just give it a look. It's audio.com/Matiss. Link in the description as well. 70% off. Check out what they're offering. And thank you for watching me ramble. Let's continue talking about the A7S III. I don't think there's a lot of accessories that you need to make this camera really nice. Like, you can take a cage. I have a cage usually, but it's not really necessary. I would recommend a Sony microphone because they work so well with the hot shoe thing. And if you really need a monitor, don't buy one. Get your phone. Sony released a feature where you can hook up your iPhone, or I think an Android as well, with a USB-C cable to your camera and use your nice display that you have on your phone, nice and bright. Use it on your camera. It's a killer feature. And you can even use camera controls on your phone to control your camera. Like, for example, I have this app called Monitors Plus on my iPhone. I can import LUTs, that the feature that was missing on the camera. I can import LUTs onto that app, preview everything, have my nice display, use my touch to focus, change settings on my phone, start to record on my phone. Like, it's the perfect monitor in your pocket at all times. If I wanted to, I can even not use a USB-C cable. It also connects wirelessly. The connection is not that stable, to be fair. But if I wanted to see myself, how I look from various angles, I can do that wirelessly as well and control my camera. Would have loved to do that when I was doing videography on I don't know, in run and gun scenarios, or when filming ads particularly, or maybe even when doing some TV gigs. I've had some TV filming gigs in the past. I would have loved to sometimes hook my phone up instead of getting my monitor and putting the battery and hooking it up and turning it on and the settings. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the colors. I don't think you can really talk about colors without making it a bit more personal, because everybody's got their own approach to color grading and the way things look and the way you want to achieve them and what looks realistic and what doesn't. It's a subjective talk. But I want to touch upon it a little bit and compare the Sony S-Log to Lumix's V-Log and just how the colors look on this camera. But let's actually start with comparing it to the A7 III. A7 III had 8-bit colors and the color science was a bit outdated. I remember a lot of people complaining about skin tones and the way the skies looked and the grass looked on the A7 III. With the A7S III, that has been resolved. There is better color science, 10-bit colors, 422, and yeah, just colors look great on this camera. And if you need examples, the internet is filled with images coming out of this sensor. Just look for videos filmed with the FX6, FX3, ZVE1, the A7S III. You can see that the colors coming out of this sensor and just the color science and S-Log, they look great, and you can achieve great looks with it. But if I compare it to Lumix, and this is going to be very subjective and a hot take, when I transform V-Log into Rec. 709 and add colors to it or just contrast, imagine grass and how grass looks in the shadows and in the highlights. Like, when I record grass with the Lumix camera, it looks very deep. Like, I want to call it deep. It's a well-saturated green color without much luminance. So it's like depthful. It like looks tasty in a way. But when I do the same things and tasks with the Sony S-Log, and it's not particularly a problem on this camera specifically, but just S-Log in general, it looks more flat. It's not as depthful. It doesn't look tasty. It looks like kind of pale, I want to say. And there are ways to resolve it. I've found color grading ways to make colors more depthful with S-Log, but with the V-Log and Lumix cameras, it just kind of looked more depthful and realistic right out of camera, whereas with Sony, it pushes you to stylize it a little bit. Like it's easy to work with the colors, but I think you need to put a bit more effort if you want to make it realistic. It's a really hot take. I don't think it's anything most people should be worried about. I think I'm making it more of an issue than it actually is. You can do great things with the colors coming out of this particular camera. It's just the differences. I don't really have any scientific research to back it up. It's just my experience on what I have seen while working with colors on various cameras. So yeah, this camera is great. Build quality, good. Features, great. Sensor, excellent. Noise performance, really nice. Colors, really good. And the ecosystem is nice. Anyways, I've rambled enough. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, it's a great camera. If you decide to buy it, or maybe you're skeptical, or if you have any other questions, leave them down below. I don't really have negative things to say about this camera. Apart from the two, it feels finished.